The one of one is missing.
I knew something was up.
Pop, that's almost twice as much going for the same price.
I just freaking love that rated rookie logo.
Doing more buy-ins.
Which one of these 5 quarterbacks has the worst set of pass catchers to throw the football to?
Guess how much I sniped this for an auction?
Number to 5, you dirty animal.
I'm telling you, these optic on-card autos are money.
Andy has struck panic in all my boxes of sealed 2020 wax. Oh my goodness, our dear beloved favorite quarterback class of all time is not having a good start. His name's Andy, my name's Carter. It's the NoOffSeason.com network. Andy, it's been a tough year for QBs up to this point. The 2 high shells are making people not as explosive in the passing game. And we have the lowest passing yards we've seen in the NFL, lowest passing touchdowns we've seen in the NFL. What is your reaction, not only from a football fan, but a football card perspective?
Yeah, I think this is even more reason why you buy these skill position players and you stash them, man, for when they go off. It's almost like having exposure to all these different wide receivers and running backs that you get late in best ball drafts just for that 1 week where they go off, they go nuclear. And then all of a sudden, the people rush out to buy their rookie cards, and you reap the benefits of it. Whereas the quarterback market, I think, is a lot trickier because you're trying to find, like after this week, we've seen a lot of the guys that have gone 2-0 here are up big time. You know, even guys that aren't throwing the ball as much and playing more of a just being a good game manager and playing turnover-free football, their cards are going up. Whereas you've got skill position players that are on teams that are winning that are just putting up monster performances. A lot of it's driven by running backs right now, Carter, and they're getting a lot of love in the hobby. We're seeing a lot of guys going up.
Josh Jacobs looked freaking amazing. Bijan has looked amazing. Breece Hall has looked amazing. It is the year of the running back, baby. I know Walter Payton is smiling down on all of us, man. We are bringing back the position of all positions, the position that tells everyone that you aren't worth jack squat. And what do we see? Even in the Packers winning versus the Colts, Jonathan Taylor looked really good on an 0-2 team with the Guardian cap in tow. So, Eddie, are there more people buying RBs? Have you seen some price increase with the running back position?
Oh, yeah. We were looking at a lot of guys. I mean, this week it's got to be led by J.K. Dobbins just because his cards were so cheap. Plays for the Chargers, and they're playing the exact football that Jim Harbaugh wants to play, right? And if you look at the snap counts, they ran the ball like 38 times to 20 pass attempts. I mean, that is just exactly how he wants to play football, and he's winning games. So Justin Herbert is going to benefit as a result. As long as he stays healthy out there, he'll get a couple touchdowns, here and there. But primarily, I mean, J.K. Dobbins, he was so cheap, though, before the season. So that's the kind of guy I look at. Like, a lot of these RBs have these base cards that are selling for $5-10 a pop, right? Base Prism, Optic Hollow. Even I consider Optic Hollow, even Prism Silvers for like Breece Hall, for example. That's still going to be more or less like a base card in that base tier. Not fully base, but, non-serial numbered, maybe just a little bit of scarcity to it over the very common cards. Okay, let's kind of like gives a little bit of a differentiation there. Those are still selling for a couple bucks, but then you go to that rookie auto tier, the serial number tier, the case hit tier, and all of a sudden those cards that were selling for $25, $50 before the season are now up to $100 plus, and that's where the guys are making their most profit.
And my dear beloved Alvin Kamara, they said he was washed. They said he was washed. And what does he do? Well, he's been the best freaking running back in the NFL. And if you were to actually go look, and I've made this comment before, and it's come off as super biased, but it's just the truth. His numbers and Christian McCaffrey's numbers are really close, right? People forget how good Alvin Kamara has been. And now you give him the 49ers one of the coaching staff members, Coach Kubiak, and AK has legit looked like the best running back in all of the NFL. And what's very interesting, Andy, about him is he's a part of the 2017 class, right? Very iconic football card year because, of course, that is the Mahomes year. And their draft class was just absolutely freaking amazing. So shout out to our dear beloved Alvin Kamara, baby.
Yeah, and his rookie autos went up a lot. I mean, there's people dropping some pretty big money on Alvin Kamara cards. They weren't now. He was a guy that wasn't super cheap because 2017 iconic product, and a lot of people have had AK stashed for a few years. I mean, he's been putting up 4 touchdown games going back to Drew Brees days. So, I mean, Alvin Kamara is one of those veteran elite presences in the league, and the Saints are off to a blazing hot start. That was a huge win for them on the road in Dallas. And I think what's so interesting about Alvin Kamara, if you look at his snap share compared to like a Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, who are on the field 75, 80 plus percent and getting 65 to 70% of the carry share, Alvin Kamara is only getting 47% of the rush attempt share right now for the Saints, but he's just converting at such a high rate, so efficient. And he's also getting 21% of the targets. So from a target distribution standpoint, that's really high for running back. That's only trails Breece Hall in the NFL, tied with Bijan Robinson. So you look at that and it's like, okay, yeah, Alvin Kamara is just playing lights out right now.
I want to talk about the Saints. Obviously, I try not to talk about the Saints too much on here because Andy's a Bucs fan. I'm a Saints fan. And we don't want to just talk about our favorite team. And you guys be like, well, of course he's going to say that. To me, the most interesting football card player, I know Derek Carr is very interesting, 2014. I've actually made a ton of money on Derek Carr cards, but that was years ago. The guy that blows me away is Rasheed Shaheed. Andy, I look at his cards all the time. The only auto cards that he has are these Sage cards, right? And that's it. And this guy has been unfreaking believable so far. And Andy, it's not just that he's like getting schemed open. Look, I'm going to share my screen really quickly here, Andy. It's not that he's just getting open. He's just blowing by people. I mean, DB's in front of him, no big deal. I mean, these are difficult plays, and he has shown it on his tape. Now, I know it looks awkward because it's the Saints and he wears a running back number at wide receiver, but the only thing you have are 2022 Sage autos. I mean, literally, that is it. That is the only autograph card that he has out there. And I hope he gets more product soon, Andy.
Yeah, he will. He'll get veteran product. And I think those will actually be some decent cards to chase just because they'll be in Saints uniform. They're not going to, retroactively print new rookie cards because he is in select. So he does have 2022 select rookie cards that you can get, and that's it. So you'll see people buying the die cuts and the dragon scale for him last week sold for $80. And, that typically is a $30, $40 card for other guys, but because that's all he's got, those will go up exponentially higher because supply is so limited. And those Sage cards, those were just $5 cards before the season, Carter. I'm sure that there's guys that have stories of going to card shows and they found a Rasheed Shaheed Sage auto in a value bin for like $1, and it's just it's kind of like a cheap card stock card, but it's got that rookie auto on there. That's Rasheed Shaheed's penmanship. And Sage is a known brand. It's just one of those that you get in like those collector's boxes. It's not even as recognized as Leaf, so it's like at the bottom of the bottom, but those cards are up to 20 to 30 now, Carter. So that's a big increase. You could have got volume. And now those are 20 to 30. And you're right, man. He's taken the defense, the top off the defense every week now. He has solidified himself as a wide receiver, like 1A, 1B in this offense, man. Derek Carr is really feeling that deep ball. I mean, we may see one of these big bomb deep touchdowns from him every week. He's got that route running and speed combo going right now.
We'll get to this because this was, one of my bad calls. Bryce Young benched. I thought he was going to be at least serviceable, but obviously short. Obviously, literally, he's very, very, very young for even a quarterback in his second year. But Andy, is this potentially? I will be looking. Why not triple down on my bad opinion? Why not? And to be clear, I never said going into this year that he would just be ass. Or I never said that he would be elite. I just thought he would be better. But he is just ass. It's just the assiest ass that an ass could be ass. That is him, right? Is this a potential super duper buy low opportunity, or do you think the dip on his stuff is already hit rock bottom?
You know what's crazy about Bryce Young? Like, there's some guys that you look and like, oh, well, the interception he threw, he really wasn't sure where to throw. Like, I see a lot of these kind of passes from Daniel Jones, like indecisiveness and then panic at the last second and throws a pick. But Bryce Young is like super confident in these interceptions he's throwing, which kind of blows my mind. Like, you just think it's going to be a great pass, and it was just like right to the defender. So yeah, I really think that at this point, it's going to take more than just one game for Bryce to go up. So let me see a good game. His prices may go up 5-10%. Okay. On a Prism Silver, what does that mean? We're going to hit a rock bottom of like $30 on it. It's going to go up to 40. Well, I can still buy it at 40 and have tons of upside because, Anthony Richardson, he's 0-2 and his Prism Silver is still over 100, so it's like, there's still tons of upside in Bryce Young buying in after one good game. So I'm like in a wait and see. Let me see one good game and see if there's actually anything there that indicates that he's going to be decent at some point. When you can't work in a Dave Canales offense and you're benched, Dave Canales has had enough already through 2 games. That's a really, really bad. They haven't even benched Will Levis yet. So, and he has not played good either. So
yeah. So we normally save like the card, like very cardy specific stuff for later. And this was going to be my hobby tip of the week. But I think Mario has a question that a lot of us want, that a lot of people would probably want you to answer, Andy. In my opinion, I think the unlicensed market is going to be very dependent on CJ and Wemby. If they do well and become the next Brady or LeBron, then the unlicensed market will get a lot of hype. And Mario says it seems like people look for the RC badge more than the team logo. Now, when it comes to card opinions, I heavily rely on Chad Dyer. Chad is literally buying new cards every single day. I think we could agree, Andy, that Chad's probably one of our sharpest viewers. He follows up and says that no team logo works for a month, then the rest of the cards come out. So obviously a big back and forth, Andy, with the unlicensed, licensed stuff. I know we talk a lot about Leaf, but Andy, this is very different with Topps, right? We're talking the Michael Rubin. He has all the athletes at these events. They did the Hobby Rip Night, 600 card shops, and we're talking about A-listers, Andy, at these card shops. Wemby was at one. Brady was at another. And then you had the B-list kind of guys. Carl Towns was at one, and so on and so on. And remember, all the NFL guys are playing, so they really can't go. So your thoughts on the Topps unlicensed market?
I'm about to blow your mind, Carter. I'm actually glad this question came up here from Mario, or this comment from Mario and this question, because this is going to blow your mind, dude. You know how we've talked about the print variety has increased since 2020, right? Joe Burrow went up. Well, if we go back like Kyler Murray, number 1 overall pick from 2019, has a couple thousand, about 2,500 different rookie card, different print variety from Panini, the main licensed brands. And then you go to Joe Burrow, he's got 4,500, and it's kind of slowly increased throughout the years. Well, today with CJ Stroud, thanks to now Topps printing Topps composite, unlicensed product for these players, guess how many different rookie cards are in the trading card database for CJ Stroud today, Carter?
Okay, so let's do this. We want to be interactive. We don't ever want this show to just be us. Andy, I want everyone in the chat to give it their best guess. How many CJ Stroud rookie cards, like you're talking about different variations of rookie cards just in general?
Yeah, different variations, so each one of them have their own print run. Some are 1 of 1, some are out of 10, 20, some are not serial numbered, just the entire portfolio of different rookie cards printed for that player.
And
Kyler Murray had 2,977. And then we go to Joe Burrow. He has 4,520, right? And then Trevor was a Topps Project X, so he had a little bit extra there, but he has 7,103. Who's a good guy to get from 2022? Kenny Pickett?
No, we might have to skip that.
Is he?
No, Kenny would be the guy. Kenny would be the guy.
Brock Purdy, I guess you could say, but Malik Willis. Malik Willis is kind of hype. Garrett Wilson, you could look at Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson has 5,917. Malik Willis has 6,174.
Okay, and then 2023, we have
2023.
We have CJ.
This is CJ. So
okay. I'm gonna give it the guess. I feel like we need Drew Carey here for the Price is Right. So I should just guess $1. I just want to be the closest out of anyone so I can just spin that wheel. I am going to go CJ Stroud has 8,750.
Not even close, man. They have blown this thing out of the water so big. He's got 16,311 different rookie cards now. And guess what, Carter? Just 2 months ago, he only had about 7,000 and some change. And now we pull our data on slabhawk.com directly from Trading Card Database. Trading Card Database updates their database when new sets are released. So post Topps Composite, 2023 Topps Composite blew CJ Stroud's print variety out of the water. And these are all unlicensed cards. They don't have the NFL license. They're working directly with CJ Stroud. And you can go on eBay and just scroll down the list. Topps Chrome Black, Topps rookie card right here, rookie. And you see he's in Texans uniform, but you're not going to see Texans logo on there. You're not going to see any of the logos on the jersey. They're photoshopping all that out. Look, blank helmet on this Topps Midnight. And this stuff right here has just flooded the market, man, to the point where he's got 16,311.
So I guess that means since he doesn't have autos and Prism and all of that, I guess his autos in the Topps product becomes even more valuable just based on I would guess he would have a lower percentage of autoed cards than Anthony Richardson out of the total amount of cards that he has. I mean, would that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. There's quite a few autos he has in the Topps Composite set, but not as many as Anthony Richardson from Panini. And I'll say one other thing. They don't sell for as much as Anthony Richardson's in comparison because this is my takeaway. The unlicensed Topps Composite product is just not as respected as highly as the officially licensed products from Panini, like Prism, like National Treasures, Contenders, all those sets. Those are just gaining. They have a lot more respect. People are not willing to pay the same price for a CJ Stroud Topps Composite rookie auto as they are even for maybe a slightly less hyped quarterback that has an officially licensed rookie auto through one of the main Panini sets.
That's interesting. Let's go to ClickBait's as far as the membership. He's one of our members. So y'all go click the join and you can have one of these cool little logos next to his name. He says, have y'all noticed CJ has two very distinctly different autos in composite? What's up with that?
I have not noticed that yet, but we could do a quick look at that. But what I have noticed is that in comparison, you would think that CJ Stroud's auto would be more expensive than some of these other quarterbacks who started off 0-2.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. I guess that really doesn't make sense. You would think the opposite because, you would think people would be so excited to have CJ autos and licensed product. It actually does look kind of different. These two right here.
Yeah, those two look really different, actually.
Oh,
I don't even know how you describe that. One looks like a C and a bunch of squigglies, and the other one looks like LJ.
that is frustrating. Here's what I think would happen with these auto changes, right? You know, you see his auto is like very extensive. It's long, right? It's hard to consistently sign every single card when your auto looks like that. If you get what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and CJ has to sign a lot of stuff, a lot. So I get the frustration that our viewers will have with the difference in autos, but it comes with it. Most athletes are auto changes, right? Tom Brady's auto changed quite a bit. Jamar Chase, my favorite player, his autos have changed, quite a bit. And what I highly recommend anyone do is, and I've been to one of these kind of signing things, and this was for a middle tier, very good Pro Bowl level player, but not a quarterback. It was unreal how much stuff he had to sign. Like, I watched him sign a stack of 500 jerseys, 500 It's so much stuff, right? Now, should the SIGs all be good? Yeah, because people are paying, really good money and the athletes are getting paid really well. But you do fatigue. Like, it is insane. It's absolutely positively insane, especially, Andy, if it's a lot of stickers, right? Because these stickers come on one of these just, simple pages like this, and, smudges happen. I'm kind of shocked that autos aren't more smudged up and just crappy in general.
Yeah, they've got to use special what do you call parchment paper in between the pages of the sticker book. It's got to be handled carefully because you're right. I can't remember who exactly it was, Carter. There was like a backup quarterback from a few years ago. He's not even in the NFL anymore, and he openly talked about how many autos he signed as part of a Fanatics deal in college, and he ended up being like a 4th or 5th round quarterback. And he said he signed something like 20,000 cards or something. And
it was Kirk Binkert, I think you're talking about.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Kirk Binkert, he runs like a quarterback study type channel now.
Yeah.
I was just fascinated because he was like, well, I guess before name, image, and likeness deals, the if you wanted to make some money in college, that was the way you did it. Sign a deal with Leaf or Fanatics or Panini or whoever to sign a certain amount of autos and make some money.
CJ, there's gonna be all kinds of people. I wonder if there's going to be, like, let's just say CJ becomes like elite, which he is on like this Peyton Manning trajectory. I wonder if there's going to be like super diehard CJ collectors that only want his auto in a certain way. Because I actually have one of Odell Beckham's earliest autos, and he actually did sign his full name on this card. I'll never sell it because it is so rare, but his auto became a lot more compact, and CJ's auto takes up the whole sticker. Right now, I want to be clear here. This is not me criticizing CJ at all, because I would rather what he's doing over the George Pickens stuff. Okay. Over the Jonathan Kuminga stuff. I will take that all freaking day, every day. Andy, we get a random chat going on. It's a football card channel when people are buying low on Skyler Thompson.
Yeah, I think this is one of the hot football card plays this week because he's going to be starting for the Miami Dolphins this week. They have a loaded roster here. And we have an unknown timeline here for Tua out with the concussion. Plus, there's, even though he says he wants to keep playing, there's got to be some point medical doctors say, no, dude, you can't play anymore. That's the play, man. People are trying to, speculate on Skyler. I think he's serviceable. He played decently in years past for Tua when he was out, and you kind of insert him into this offense. And the hope is that he can play good, but he's a 6th round quarterback. And he doesn't, I don't think, have the same I don't know if I think it's an interesting play only because his prices are so cheap. But they got the Seahawks upcoming this weekend. It's going to be a tough matchup for them, and I'm not sure. The Seahawks defense has played pretty decent so far this year. So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence if that's a good play. I mean, but it's definitely a possibility.
Andy, let's talk about the rookie quarterbacks, then we'll get into a few more comments. We actually started talking about 2020 before the actual rookies. It's been rough. It's been really, really, really rough. I am willing to give Caleb a pass for year one because I'm not sure if anyone out there really thinks this coaching staff is the right fit. I mean, they were already talking about Matt Eberflus not being the guy for the future. I think we could kind of see that that's the case. But I'm interested in what the chat has to say. Obviously, Caleb was super hyped, going into the season. Friend of the show, Brad Nolan, flew from Chicago down to Houston to go watch that monstrosity of a game. Your thoughts on Caleb and his very robust card market?
Yeah, Caleb's definitely taken a hit here. I think Jaden Daniels, I mean, you look at all the rookie quarterbacks, they've kind of taken a hit here to start the season in terms of the values. They're still selling well. The prices haven't dipped that much, only because the supply is pretty limited. He's still the main cards to target for him are going to be now you have tops now, but I mean, talking like the autograph, like that higher tier market is still the Bowman Chrome University first with the auto on it. That's like the main card, go-to card. Then you have a lot of like the newest Panini Instant pre-sales seem to be selling a little bit better than his tops now instance. But at the same time, those are still $10 cards, and we've seen them get up to 20, 30 in the past for other guys. So the fact that he's staying at $10, you can kind of see how his prices stay down. Whereas if we look at Jaden Daniels, and he's got the Panini Instant pre-sales out as well now from week one, they're selling a little bit better. But at the same time, Jaden doesn't have as much supply as Caleb Williams has. So Jaden's got a lot of Sage stuff and Leaf stuff selling as well.
Yeah, I will go to my grave crying that Jaden was not in Bowman last year. Oh my God, I want to love that so much. But beggars can't be choosers. Big shout out to Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. I'm just randomly pointing out that they have been really good players. No allegiances whatsoever to those two fine young gentlemen. They are both playing with trash quarterback. I'm kidding. Trevor's not been good, though. And Daniel is Daniel Jones. But I just wanted to shout them out. Andy, I do want to ask your thoughts on Bo Nix. He's also a guy that has a lot of autos. I mean, a lot. We have Auburn autos when he wasn't really even that good. And we also had the actual Oregon autos where he was good. In Denver, first couple of games were rough after some decent preseason performances.
Yeah, Wolf is right, man, because not a good start for Denver Broncos, Bo Nix either. I mean, this entire rookie class really struggling outside of the wide receivers. And I mean, the wide receivers are really shining here. I look at Marvin Harrison Jr. coming alive this week. Your boy Malik Neighbors with the 31%, the 18 targets, unbelievable. But yeah, Bo Nix here. What's interesting, Bo Nix does have a lot of autos. He's got Leaf, he's got Wild Card, he's got Bowman Chrome University from two different schools, and it's kind of crazy. So his prices, like you could see, he's still selling today for pretty decently, man, as a starter. And I still think he's in that sell category here because people are still paying triple digits for like a non-serial numbered Bowman University Inception. And it seems to be that his cards in Oregon uniforms from 2023 sell better than his cards from 2022. That's what I see. And I think that, I mean, that leash is pretty long. And I think it's because, I mean, I don't know, Bo Nix is putting up the rushing yards. Like I think he's He's been like he leads the Denver Broncos in rushing through the first 2 games. Like he's the only quarterback that's leading his team in rushing. Now, that's not a good thing for their rushing attack because obviously running backs are so important right now, and establishing the run is how you win in the NFL right now. But he's having to kind of spearhead that for his team, which is not a good thing. And his passing game has not been good.
I do want to address a comment from one of our viewers. He said, do not waste your money on Skyler. It was Justin Wagner. He says he's not starting. Well, based on what I've read is Skyler Thompson is starting, but Andy, secretly a QB who I've always thought can play is Tyler Snoop Huntley. All right. Dolphins bring in Tyler Huntley. Okay. Man of the people, Tyler Huntley. Only has rookie ticket autos, Tyler Huntley. And I actually checked this morning. They still go for about like 20, 25, 30. But I did see one go for like $5. Someone just, putting an auto out there. But I'm a Tyler Huntley. I've always been a believer in him. I always thought he played well with the Ravens. And I do think he's better than Skyler Thompson. I do. And I just said Thompson's a better fit. That's who I would start most definitely in this situation. But I don't know. I mean, Snoop has played decent football as a backup. So I'm interested to see what the Dolphins do moving forward.
Yeah, and what's interesting? Tyler Huntley, when he popped off for the Ravens before, now this was 2 years ago, but these cards they went up to like $150. I know you remember that we did the whole show on it and everything. So to see them at 30 to 40 is actually a pretty low price, and the supply is very limited. This is really all he's got. So it's kind of like a Jordan Mason correlation here. If he does pop off for the Miami Dolphins and one big game, yeah, I could see them going up to 80 to 100. Another big game strung together. Now all of a sudden we see him going up even more. Because he is a pretty flashy player. Like he looked like Lamar Jackson out there, I remember 2 years ago. But it'll be interesting in a new environment to see if he could have that effect here. But I mean, if they just brought him in, how quickly can he learn the playbook? It's going to ultimately come down to what does Mike McDaniels feel about him learning the playbook and understanding his scheme. Whereas, they can insert Skyler Thompson in. He already understands the playbook, the scheme, and they can lean on the run game and short area targets to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and just get the ball in their hands and let the rest, let them do the work.
All right, Andy, before we get into hobby tip of the week, let me see. Okay, I want to share my screen really quick. I want to talk about a player that is somebody that we gave up on, but he's a starting quarterback of a 2-0 team. Justin Fields, Andy.
Yeah, man, he's moving, but there's still so much upside in Justin Fields. I don't know what people are necessarily waiting for. I think they're waiting for an official announcement from Mike Tomlin, from the Pittsburgh Steelers, that says Justin Fields is our starter moving forward. I mean, look at that Black Prism silver auto right there that sold for $152.50 in auction yesterday. If you go back before the season started, yeah, I could find that card selling for as low as $125, but on average, that card is selling between $125 and $150. So it really has only moved a couple percent, if that, up. And he has led them to a 2-0 start here. So I think that even if Russell Wilson is healthy, and it doesn't matter how many pity game balls they give him, I think Justin Fields is going to continue to be the starter here.
I mean, people are begging for any quarterback in 2021. Obviously, Trevor's okay. I'm pulling for him. Remember, I had a better grade on Justin Fields than Trevor Lawrence. And obviously, I was wrong about that, but maybe I'm not. I've never really was like a big Trevor guy. One thing I'll say, Andy, this is a big debate that people have about the signing downtowns and kabooms. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's cool. I would love to get a downtown or a kaboom signed. I love the orange Sharpie here because it's color matched to the Bears, you know. And even like orange is not a terrible color match, I guess, to the Steelers. It would have been cooler with the gold Sharpie. But I think it's cool, especially when my whole thing is when you get it signed at an event like this, you got to get it graded by either PSA or CGC now owns JSA. And so they authenticate event signed cards as well. So either one of those companies is perfect. Beckett, of course, as well does it. So yeah, either one of those three companies, you just got to get that authenticated because if not, it's really, a total unknown.
So a few years ago, I was able to go to an event with Joey B. It was a Fanatics like signing thing, and Andy, I watched a guy walk in there, and I didn't get to see it myself, but he brought a Joe Burrow Kaboom in, and this was signed by an orange paint pen on the Joe Burrow Kaboom. That was one of the most beautiful cards I've ever seen. Like, I was very happy for that guy. I was like, man, I'm not even going to try and buy that card off of you, but that's one of the prettiest cards I've seen. I do want to be clear, though, that this is like a paint pen. And if you are to do one of these things, this will be my hobby tip of the day. I actually had something else, but since we're on the topic, I feel like I have to share this every 6 months. All right. Get your damn pins prepped before you go get something signed. Now, if you go to the National, the athlete sits there and they have a ton of pins and stuff ready to go. But if you are going, let's say you're going to NFL training camp or whatever, or you're trying to get an auto pregame, please prep your pin. Okay. Bet one of my idols, not a sports guy, but he signed a pretty rare LSU thing that I have, Lil Boosie. Okay. I brought this up exactly 6 months ago. I'm going to do it again now. Okay. Did not prep my Sharpie. And I got Joe Burrow's signature on this. I got Patrick Queen. I mean, I got legends on there. And I love Boosie as much as those guys. All right, he is my favorite artist. And his signature is faded because I had a crappy pen. And I was at an event where they're not going to have Sharpies. He doesn't sign a whole lot of stuff. And Andy, he was so excited because he's a bigger LSU fan than me. And like, I just hated, like, he enjoyed signing it. He didn't really care, but always prep your stuff before you're going to a signing. If you have to bring your own pen, or if you're going to an event wanting to have a signing, prep it, sign some things yourself, and it'll help you in the long run. Okay. Tim says, by prep, do you mean break them in, use them a bit? Yes. Make sure that son of a gun works. There's plenty of tips on prepping a pen or a paint pen before you go. And there's going to be somebody watching this who actually knows how to do this better than me. So go to our Discord. And Andy, I'm going to throw this offer out here again. Whoever signs up today to the football card Patreon, the first two that sign up today, I got your first month covered. Okay. So go sign up and I got you. Okay. But Andy, it's very important to make sure those pins are prepped.
That sounds like a good hobby tip, Carter. I've got a very interesting hobby tip today to share. I was surprised, man, and like, wow, these guys are making a comeback. Are you ready? I think this is big, man. This is big. You guys got to pay attention to this one. I'm about to share my screen here. StarStock. Check it out. When's the last time you've heard me mention the name StarStock? They are making a comeback, Carter. I want you to check this out. 100K plus cards now live on eBay in collaboration with Collectible Exchange. I think they're bringing StarStock back to life here. The StarStock eBay store now has 100,000 cards live. They're going to continue to list well-priced cards that are on StarStock over the next couple of months on their eBay store. Cards listed well above recent comps are less likely to get upload priority to their store. If you want a better chance to sell cards via eBay or StarStock, you may need to reprice some of your collections. So this is an important announcement to anybody that's got a StarStock account that just left inventory there because it was so hard to get it home. I know a lot of guys, myself included, took like 6 to 8 months to get cards out of their vault back home because they were just so backlogged in shipments coming out because they were running a skeleton crew. But they've maintained the business here. And as you can see, they're now got an eBay store, which I think is so huge because this is one of the big selling points of comc.com. Not just the actual scans of cards, but also having those listed on eBay. So now you will see the actual scans of cards listed on eBay through the StarStock store. This is huge for them. This brings them back to relevancy here. And I think it makes them a interesting contender once again in the online flipping game. If you can sell, especially a lot of us that already have a ton of inventory on StarStock, because you got to be selling on eBay because they're getting millions and maybe billions some days clicks and people shopping on eBay.
Whew. Andy, I have no ill will towards StarStock, none, because I've never made more money than on that site. I remember when it started, like there was like some Cooper Cup PSA 10s listed for like $30. And I called you. I was like, Andy, do you want some of these? And you're like, no, you can have them. And I think I bought like 3 of them. And that was before like his Triple Crown season. Now, I didn't think it was going to be that good that year. There's no way I could have predicted that. But you could make deals on StarStocks because people would just list it and just totally forget about it. You could just buy it. And like literally people forget their stuff on StarStock all the time. So I'm glad they're making a comeback. I know they had like Kevin Durant as like a seed investor. So I'm very interested. And look, here's something else we'll do. StarStock, if you're listening, everybody has trashed you except us. Okay. We're open for a partnership, baby. Come on in, StarStock. Come be a part of the most diehard football card fans you will ever find. Let's go to Chad. Oh, this is hilarious. I handed a gold paint pen to an ex-Viking. Homeboy shook it and it exploded all over him. For the win. Oh, God. I'm trying to think the funniest Viking that this could have happened to. Obviously, it would be Randy Moss. That would be the funniest. But I think if it was Randy Moss, you would have said Randy Moss in the Super Chat. Eddie, who do you think this was?
I don't. Oh, you know who it probably was? What was his name, man? He was a really like outspoken. Kind of remind me of like the Vikings version of George Kittle. I can't remember his name, but they had a tight end that was super like outspoken, all tatted up. He was like a character all the time.
I think you're thinking of a defensive end, Jared Allen.
Oh yeah, yes. Sorry, Jared Allen, the defensive end. I have reason I have a feeling it was Jared Allen.
He had that celebration. What was his celebration, Chad? It was something like this. Was it not?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? When he would
I know what you're talking about.
Jared Allen was that dude. He was a dude, bro. Jared Allen was that guy. Man, I miss him, dude. He wore number 69. Nice. He never took himself too seriously, but man, that dude was a beast off the edge. It was Tommy Kramer.
So that's hilarious. Like that should be the card. Like if that happened, I'd be like, oh, just hold on 1 second. I'm gonna take a picture. This is the card. We're gonna turn this moment into a card.
Yes.
And then get you to autograph that.
I love that, man. All right. We'll take a few more, and then we get into play of the week. Yeah, Jared Allen's Hall of Fame candidacy is coming up. Or has it already passed, or has he been passed over? You know,
well, you know, like John Lynch. I mean, you can get nominated a bunch before you finally get in.
Yeah, like for this next class, the only like no doubter in this next class for first ballot is Luke Kuechly. For me, I think Eli Manning is in this next class as well. So I'm a big Luke Kuechly guy. I think Luke Kuechly's I would take Luke Kuechly over Ray Lewis. I'm serious. And I'm not flinching when I say that. But I will also say that Fred Warner of the San Francisco 49ers is absurd. He is so freaking absurd, man. So there you go. Let's take a few here. Jonathan John, that's a dangerous question. Is Quentin Johnson actually looking good, Andy?
No, he just got the high value targets in the red zone. It was solid play design. So it was like actually busted coverage, and Quentin Johnson he was the open guy. So it's not like he's getting this huge opportunity share. I'm still out on Quentin Johnson. I saw some interesting solds, he was an honorable mention this week, but no, I'm still hanging my hat on Lad McConkey in that offense. It's just, man, I'm looking at like the Chargers and the Steelers have the lowest pass to run ratio in neutral game script scenarios in the NFL. Gotta be. They literally have run the ball 38, 39 times this past week to 20 pass attempts. It's like such a low pass to run ratio.
James wants to talk about Arch Manning, the Texas quarterback, Andy.
Well, so Arch is interesting, Carter. Like, he's got to find a starting opportunity, man. Like, he was so highly touted in high school, and now he's been stuck behind Quinn Ewers. Is he going to transfer to get a starting opportunity?
He's about to start now, Andy. Quinn Ewers got hurt. So let's can you do something really quickly?
Yeah.
Let's look at Arch's market. I know we're mostly NFL, but we talk more college uniform stuff. My good buddy Ty Christiana bought heavy into Arch. We're talking a lot. And some think he's better than yours. And for those that don't know, he got in. So Quinn got hurt in the second quarter, and Arch stepped in, and Andy, he had a 75-yard touchdown run. So,
dang.
God, look at the instant 17
rated. Yeah, see, here's the thing, man. So we got two different cards here, both sealed by Panini. We have a Panini Instant out of 10, which that's going to be gold. So that's going to be advertised as gold. That sold for $1,750. And then you have a Prism Draft Picks Chrome finish card, rated prospect in the top right, but non-serial numbered, not labeled gold, only sold for $525.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Arch. I think there could be a world where he takes over and they don't look back.
Wow, now this is a big deal, Carter, because this is one of those Panini gold packs from the National. Arch Manning with the American flag. And this is non-serial number. This is the base card from that set, $55 in a buy it now today. These transactions, man, these are flying. Also, Arch is really hot right now.
Yeah, because he actually got a highlight. He had a big spring game, and his spring game was just guys running wide open. It was kind of the same thing versus UTSA. But if he actually puts up a game versus an actual opponent, now that card right there is sick. That orange prism, that's nasty. That is a beautiful, beautiful card. The 2012 throwback prism right there. I freaking love that. Man.
The only thing I don't like about it's got no rookie card logo. But yeah, this is not, it's like right now with the supply being kind of limited, there's no question it's not, somewhat of a rookie card here. And that kind of cracked ice and serial numbered out of 49. That is a beautiful card. $750 buy it now yesterday.
And Hector always points this out, does the player play an exciting brand of football? And Arch Manning, he's got some juice as a runner. Let's go to James's super chat. Thank you, James, for your donation. It goes all to Andy. What about the T. Higgins card market with him being out? Soon to return. I believe does he put in work, or is he an iffy? Okay, James, just like you donated us right here, life is about money. And T. Higgins does have a big contract coming up. Mm-hmm. So does anybody really want to go pay him the top end wide receiver money if every year he's getting hurt and people are questioning your toughness? He's got to come back this year. Okay. He just does. So he could show the league what he's got. So, Andy, you've always been a big T. Higgins fan. You made some money on his cards early in his career. Your thoughts on him moving forward?
Oh yeah, I have, and I haven't bought back into T. Higgins in over a year now because his prices got to a new echelon. You look at it even now. I mean, not even starting the season, people are still in auction. So this is a great indication of what true market value is. $40 here for his base rookie ticket auto from 2020, and that is still way higher than what the bottom is. The bottom for this card could be around 10 to 20 bucks. And to see it still at $40 tells you people are still expecting a lot from T. Higgins this season. They're still making plays. I think he's one of the more obvious plays, just like Joe Burrow, like buying the dip on him right now. It's an obvious one. A lot of people are making that play because it's got a high it's a plus EV play, right, Carter? You have a high probability of hitting on that play just because he has proven to be so good in the past. There's a lot of merit behind these purchases. He's a good dynasty asset right now. People are trying to trade for him in dynasty, thinking you could get him low. You're trying to buy his rookie cards, thinking you can get him low. But the fact is, he's not that low. Like, you can still probably find better wide receivers to buy outside of T. Higgins right now in the league. I'm just going to say that.
Before we get to play of the week, let me see.
And my play of the week is going to be one of them.
Oh, T. Higgins was going to be one of your plays?
No. A wide receiver that I think is a better value.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's go.
Okay, so this is the highest ranked wide receiver through 2 weeks, according to PFF's film study analytics. Their scores are generated based on their film studies. Do you know who that is, Carter? Because I know you follow all their data.
No, I actually don't. I am a subscriber, but I don't. But let me see. Who would be the highest graded wide receiver after 2 weeks? I was gonna guess Shaheed, but no, because grades are different than like the actual stats.
This guy had a big week 2. I mean, he had a solid week 1, but a big week 2. I mean, he was the focal point of his team's offense.
Oh, Malik Neighbors.
Nope, it's Chris Godwin for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wow. Chris Godwin.
I saw that you can go look at PFF's timeline, their data this morning. He is the highest graded wide receiver through 2 weeks. He's from that iconic draft class in 2017. I've been waiting all stream to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Carter. This is my chance.
All right, let's. I mean, God, that's kind of a cool, like this little disco for only $4. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, and see, this is the thing, like because he's a veteran status, and also because he's on a depth chart with a Hall of Fame wide receiver and Mike Evans, and Baker has been spreading the ball around a little bit. But look, Chris Godwin had a touchdown plus almost 100 yards week 1. He runs incredible routes. I mean, this guy's just been so productive throughout his NFL career, and he's on track this year again to put up another one of those top 10 wide receiver type seasons where week in, week out, he's just getting more consistent targets than Mike Evans, who has like these 2-3 touchdowns. Like, granted, Mike Evans is going to put up 1,000+ receiving yards. Definitely. He's going to get his, but with the way we're playing football right now, absolutely love it. And I think you're going to see Chris Godwin continue to produce in and week out. And if you go back and look at previous season of Chris Godwin, his values just kind of slowly get higher and higher throughout the season. And you look at this Tampa Bay team, this win we got over Detroit Lions was a very gritty win over a team that should have been the NFC champions and went to the Super Bowl last year. They cleaned our shorts last year. They destroyed us in Tampa, and we go into their stadium this past week and get the win. So I'm very bullish right now, and people have not reacted accordingly to Chris Godwin's market with the scarcity around 2017. A lot of people were buying Cooper Kupp. I think they need to pivot and buy Chris Godwin instead from 2017. His prices are still very low, and you got some great scarcity. I mean, look, Orange Prism out of $275 for $9 from 2017. I love that. Rookie autos out of 99 for under $20. I think that's a great value right now.
Rico's Rich. So Andy gave you a few. Dude, 2017. All right, my favorite rookie card will always be the 2013 class because we got Thompson, Prism, and all that. 2017 is just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous year for football cards. And I'm not really a Mahomes guy. I like Mahomes, but it's just not my guy. God, it's such a beautiful year for football cards. So anything rated rookie Prism that you can get on the cheap. Chris Godwin, so underrated. But God, dude, the 2017 class, all these cards are beautiful. There's so many just damn good football players.
Yeah, there really is, man. And he's, believe it or not, priced as one of the lower end guys from that class. And I think he should be at least middle of the pack. I mean, he at least needs to be trading as much as Alvin Kamara. And I think it eventually his market will get there towards the end of this season. But I think there's a nice buy opportunity right now, especially. I mean, these are the games I'm targeting, man. These 2-0 teams that are going into week 3 here. We got a couple big matchups, Carter, but you're looking at week 3 matchups. The Steelers are playing the Chargers, 2-0 battle. The Buccaneers are hosting the Denver Broncos at home. Like the Bucs are getting ready to go 3-0 here. And with Patrick Surtain likely covering Mike Evans, look at another big Chris Godwin game here, guys. I think it's time to buy before his cards go up even more significantly.
Jonathan says Brock Bowers is a real deal. Yeah, I was big on Bowers. I'm a little angry at myself with my fantasy exposure. I kept taking Njoku over Bowers, and I love both of them. Those are my 2 favorite tight ends in fantasy, but I kept taking Njoku. I wish I would have taken more Bowers. Andy, my play of the week is actually just a brand of card, okay? Andy, do you know who Jeremiah Smith is?
That name's really familiar, but
Okay.
I can't.
Yeah, he is a true freshman wide receiver for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And they're already calling him better than Marvin Harrison. They're calling him better than Garrett Wilson. And Andy, I want you to see how much this card actually went for. And it blew my freaking skull. Okay, now we're only a few games into the year here. And I want to talk about this card called On It. All right.
Mm-hmm.
This is a true freshman wide receiver. And I don't have the best offer accepted extension like you do, Andy. But I'm guessing these cards, this one probably went for like $750. And I'm guessing this one probably went for probably around the same, 1,000 or so. On It's very interesting, right? So it's an NIL brand. And, well, it looks as if on some of the cards with the On It stuff that they do have licenses for the teams, if that makes sense. So I just want to put that out there. There have been some On It cards. Then you can see Ohio State just a little bit there. I think these are like an NIL collective kind of thing. I've seen these cards pop up, and I just wanted to put it on everyone's radar. They're not with every team, but I was shocked at some of the prices for some of the autos of these players. Now, Andy Jeremiah Smith, some people think he's like already a top 5 receiver in college football.
Wow.
But one more thing I wanted to point out and this is more of a hobby tip of the week than like a play of the week, the true freshman wide receiver class. So we're not talking about this next draft class. We're not talking about this next draft class, but the one after it. Andy, there are so many elite true freshman wide receivers. Jonathan, who you just saw right there, Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Wing. And by the way, Jeremiah Smith is the nephew or a cousin of Geno Smith. So Geno knows him really well. So good genetics. Ryan Wingo is a true freshman receiver, and he's attached to Arch Manning. So that's someone you need to look for. Another true freshman wide receiver is Cam Coleman at Auburn. He's hurt right now. Andy, there is a 17-year-old true freshman wide receiver named Ryan Williams for Alabama, who is dominating right now. Put up a big game versus Wisconsin. And those are just 4 of the guys. Really, really, really elite true freshman wide receiver class. So it's very, very interesting. And clickbaits brings up Ryan Tannehill. I still have some Ryan Tannehill tops chrome refractors over here. There has to be some team out there, some team that's going to go get Ryan Tannehill. So if you do have those Tannehill cards, do not list them yet. Let's just wait to see where he's going to go. So 2-ish plays of the week.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was watching Ryan Tannehill makes me think of a couple more veterans. We talked about Jameis Winston last week. And then I thought for a second Deshaun Watson got hurt this past week, but then because I saw Jameis in there, but then it was just like he was in there as a trick play to hand the ball off. So it was weird. So I think like Jameis is a guy that could potentially start. Ryan Tannehill, but don't forget about Jimmy G as well. Like I think Jimmy G is sitting, and you know how these NFL teams just love them some Jimmy G. I mean, he's a potential trade candidate as well. And who knows, man? But I do foresee if Skyler Thompson doesn't go well, the Skyler Thompson experiment doesn't go well this weekend, I do foresee the Dolphins potentially trading for a quarterback. Just don't know. This is one thing that I've been thinking about a lot, Carter. I talked about it on Sunday morning in the Discord server when I do a members only live stream. And I record that, by the way, and I put it up for the YouTube members, like clickbaits. I think somebody else last week was asking about that. That goes up on the members only feed and on Patreon. But I was like, Tua is the number 1 candidate in the league to be wearing the Guardian cap over his helmet. Why is he not wearing the Guardian cap over his helmet? Why?
I don't know, Andy. I'd have to go. So I actually did a deep dive on helmets. I have to go look at his helmet because he might be wearing one of the helmets that has a higher safety rating than the Guardian cap. So the NFL did a study. So there's 5 helmets that you can get, all right, that has a higher safety rating than the Guardian cap. So in practices, if you wear one of these 5 helmets, you don't have to wear the Guardian cap in practice. For those that don't know, Guardian caps are required to be worn in practice. They're required unless you have one of these 5 or 6-ish helmets. There's a 6, but it's just like a different variation of one of them. So he could be wearing one of those already. But either way, I do agree with you. And the irony isn't lost on me that it was DeMar Hamlin whose chest caused this thing. Football is just crazy sometimes with this kind of stuff. So what do you think, Andy? Do you think Tua should hang it up?
I mean, for his health, I don't know what his family life is like. I mean, if he has young children, I know he recently just got married. So if he had young children, if that was me, I would seriously contemplate hanging it up, to be around for my kids, because the rate that he's going, I'm afraid that one more of these hits, he's going to end up like a paraplegic or like, with serious, like long-term brain damage, because he's like locking it, he's doing the hand lock up and everything. So it looks like he's having a seizure now every time. And this wasn't a bad hit at all. I mean, it's really quite scary to think about. Like Tua is just if he does play, he's got to make sure he doesn't take any hits. You just can't take hits. You got to get rid of the ball, throw it away, don't run with it. I mean, he's limited, and this is what it is. But I mean, I don't know, man. So
the weird thing about the hand freeze up thing is, how often have you seen that happen with other players?
Not often. Very rare.
Yeah, normally when players like get knocked out, they just get knocked out. Like you don't see, like you see it some. Like there was an Arkansas player where this happened, but this has happened to Tua 3 times. It happened in the Bengals Thursday night game, and obviously a lot of his concussion issues were in 2022. 2023 he was healthy, but now you have this. I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. Bill says stay the hell away from Tannehill. My only point was if you had some Tannehills laying around like I do, don't list them just to list them. Rich Deco says Tua should retire. And Ron says this is his first live stream. Put Ron up on the screen, man. Look at this.
Ron.
Welcome, Ron. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, man.
And by the way, Ron, this goes for Ron or anyone else. If you sign up today, for the first 2 people that sign up for the Card Patreon, all a part of the nooffseason.com network, I want to shout out our partners at CGC. If you sign up today, I got your first month for the first two people. I got you. Anyway, I do want to point out something. Sunday morning, you did a show on Discord.
I did, man, and you joined me, man. Hot off some film breakdowns from LSU's sneaky win on Saturday.
And guess who I talked about? Mr. Zach Charbonnet. I wanted to get on there and let the world know about Zach Charbonnet. Was he spectacular? No. They did score a tutty, and he did take care of business, right? So love me some Charbs, baby. I do. I would like to see Kenneth Walker back. I mean, I love that 1-2 duo in Seattle. But yeah, so are we doing this every Sunday, or are you doing this every Sunday?
Yeah, I'm doing this every Sunday morning. So somewhere I like to wait till 11:30, but just depends on how the morning schedule goes with the kids and family and everything. But 11:30 is when they come out with the injury alert. So it's not just like game time stuff. Like we went back, we did a deep dive on the Panini instance that came out last Friday for a variety of different players. And we just look at a lot of different stuff that has implications in the card market going forward.
A lot of people are saying Kyler to the moon. I might have lost that Kyler Murray Breece Hall trade. I might have lost that epic trade that a lot of you blasted me for. We'll see what happens. All right, we will talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Boom.
Appreciate you guys.